Hello everyone. Today we will going to present the evolution of the Philippines Constitution.
Introduction. The identity of Filipino is closely connected to understanding the country's history, especially the development of the Philippines Constitution. These show how the government has changed over time and how laws are created to guide the nation. Studying its evolution helps us understanding how a well-defined constitution support proper governance and protect the rights of the people. Here's the short explanation of the introduction. Knowing the history and evolution of the Philippines Constitution help Filipino understand their identity, the government, system, and the importance of law. It maintained order and protecting citizens' rights.
The 1897 Biak na Bato Constitution ay isinulat sa Spanish at Tagalog since temporary lang ito at hindi nagtagal dahil ginawa lamang itong pansamantalang saligang batas o temporary charter upang matugunan ang pangangailangan ng panahong iyon. The 1899 Malolos Constitution na isinulat sa wikang Espanyol ay isang mahalagang dokumento na nagpapatunay na kaya ng mga Pilipino na pamahalaan ang sarili. Ito ang naging pundasyon ng unang republika ng Pilipinas at kilala bilang kauna-unahang konstitusyong republikang ginawa sa Asya. The 1935 Constitution. Ginawa ang konstitusyon ng Amerika bago bigyan ng kalayaan ang Pilipinas. Sa simula, iisa lang ang kapulungan at 6 na taon ng termino ng Pangulo. Pero binago ito noong 1940 para magkaroon ng Senado at Kamara. At naging 4 na taon na lang ang termino na pwedeng maulit ng isang beses. Ito ang naging gabay ng gobyerno hanggang sa makamit natin ang kasarinlan noong 1946.
The 1973 Constitution was made during martial law under Ferdinand Marcos. Ang idea sana nito is gawing parliamentary government, meaning yung National Assembly ang gagawa ng batas. And ang president ay parang ceremonial lang or symbolic leader lang. So sa theory, hindi dapat siya sobrang powerful, pero habang tumatagal may mga changes or amendments na nangyayari. 1980, tinataasan yung retirement age ng mga judge hanggang 70. 1981, malaking changes ito, naging semi-presidential system, ibig sabihin bumalik yung malakas na power ng president. At pwede na siyang i-elect directly ng people, mas naging executive ulit siya. 1984, tinanggal yung executive committee at ibinalik ang posisyon ng vice president. Kahit mukhang parliamentary siya sa papel, sa aktual na nangyari, mas nananatili pa rin yung power kay Marcos. So instead na tunay na parliamentary system, ang nangyari sa practice ay parang authoritarian presidential system. Ibig sabihin, isa pa rin ang dominant leader na may hawak ng malaking kapangyarihan. The 1986 Freedom Constitution. After the People Power Revolution, si Corazon C. Aquino became the new president after Ferdinand E. Marcos was removed. Since wala pang permanent constitution that time, she created the Freedom Constitution through Proclamation No. 3. It was a temporary constitution only. Ginawa lang siya for a short time while the country was transitioning back to democracy. It helped run the government. It gave the president power to reorganize the government and remove or replace officials if needed. It combined old and new rules. Some parts of the 1973 Constitution were kept, but others were removed. Their main purpose: restore democracy, stabilize the government, and prepare for a new constitution. The 1987 Constitution. Ito ang current or ginagamit pa rin ng Constitution ng Pilipinas ngayon. Ang Constitution ay parang rulebook ng government kung paano tatakbo ang bansa. May 3 branches of government. First, executive branch, nagpapatupad ng batas. Example, President at mga kasama niya. Second, legislative branch, gumagawa ng batas, Senate at House of Representatives. Third, judiciary branch, nagpapatupad ng hustisya, court like Supreme Court. Ang pinaka-importanting idea dito ay separation of powers. Magkakahiwalay ang kapangyarihan ng tatlong branches para hindi isang grupo lang ang sobrang makapangyarihan. Check and balances. May sistema na tinitignan at binabalanse nila ang isa't isa para hindi mang-abuso ng kapangyarihan. May mga constitutional commission din na independent office para tumulong magbantay sa government. Na-ratify ito noong February 8, 1987 sa pamamagitan ng nationwide vote ng mga tao.
Preamble. The preamble serves as the introduction of the Constitution, stating that the power of the government comes from the people. It also followed the style of earlier constitutions by including a reference to God. The preamble explains that the people are the source of the authority and introduces the Constitution while also acknowledging God, similar to the past version. Article 1. National Territory. This defines the land, water, and airspace that belong to the Philippines. It explains the country boundaries and what areas are included as part of the nation. Article number 2. Declaration of the Principles and State Policies. This states the basic values and goals of the government. It includes principles like democracy, protection of the people, justice, and the role of the state in serving the nation. Article number 3. Bill of Rights. This lists the basic rights and freedom of every Filipino, such as freedom of the speech, religion, and the right to due process. It protects citizens from abuse and unfair treatment.
Article 4. Citizenship. This explains who are considered citizens of the Philippines. There are two types: natural-born citizens, those who are already Filipino at birth and do not need to perform any act to acquire citizenship. Naturalized citizenship, those who became Filipino through a legal process. The Philippines followed the principles of jus sanguinis, which means citizenship is based on blood relation. If your parents are Filipino, you are also Filipino. Being natural born is important because only they are allowed to run for high government position from a member of the House of Representatives up to the President.
Article 5. Suffrage. Karapatang bumoto. Dito naman, tinatalakay ang pagboto. Sinasabi kung sino ang pwedeng bumoto base sa edad at paninirahan. Pinapaliwanag din na dapat lihim o secret ballot ang pagboto para walang daya o impluensya. Pangalawa, sistema para sa mga OFW. May kapansanan at hindi marunong bumasa o sumulat para makaboto pa rin sila.
Article 6. Legislative Department. This is about the Congress of the Philippines, which has two parts. Senate. House of Representatives. Congress has the power to make and investigate laws, declare the existence of a state of war, control government funds. Power of the purse. Impose taxes, take private property for public use. Eminent domain. In simple terms, these three articles: citizenships, suffrage, legislative department.
For the Article 7, the Executive Department, this article explains the executive branch led by the President. And the President holds executive power. This is the enforces laws. It includes rules about qualification who can become President, the term of office, the election process, powers, and duties. It also provides for a Vice President and the line of succession, which is who replaces the President if needed. And the Article 8, Judicial Department. This article explains the judicial branch which interpret laws. Judicial power is given to the Supreme Court and lower courts, and the courts settle disputes and decide if laws follows the Constitution. The President appoints judges but only from nominees chosen by the Judicial and Bar Council or JBC. This ensures fairness and limits political influence.
Article 9. Constitutional Commission. This article creates independent bodies that ensure fairness and accountability in government. It established three commissions: Civil Service Commission, Manage Government Employees, Commission on Election, COMELEC, Overseas Elections, Commission on Adult, check government spending. These bodies are independent to prevent corruption and bias. Article 10. Local government. This article promotes local autonomy, self-governance of local areas. Local governments, province, cities, municipalities, barangay are given power to manage their own affairs. Congress is required to create laws for local governance, such as the Local Government Code. It allows local leaders to better respond to the needs of their communities. Article 10 it explains that province, cities, municipalities, barangay can govern themselves and handle their own local issues.
Article 11. Accountability of public officers. Article 11 establishes the Office of Ombudsman, which is responsible for investigating and prosecuting government officials. It also vests upon the Congress the power to impeach the President, the Vice President, member of the Supreme Court, and the Ombudsman. In short, it creates the Ombudsman to investigate and prosecute corrupt officials. It also gives Congress the power to impeach the highest leaders of the land. Article 12. National Economy and Patrimony ensures that the nation's wealth, natural resources, and economy are developed, controlled, and utilized primarily by Filipinos to serve the common good and prevent monopoly. It means it ensures that the country's resources and businesses are owned and managed mainly by Filipinos. Its goal is, is to develop the economy for everyone and prevent unfair monopolies. Article 13. Social justice and human rights promotes equality by protecting the rights of workers, farmers, and the underprivileged, ensuring that opportunities are acceptable to all human dignity upheld. Ibig sabihin nito that it protects the rights of workers, farmers, and the poor to ensure equal opportunities. It guarantees that the human dignity is respected and maintained for all citizens. Article 14. Education, Science, and Technology, Arts, Culture, and Sports. Mandates the state to provide quality education, advance scientific innovation, preserve Filipino culture and heritage, and promote physical fitness and sports. It means it requires the government to provide quality education and support scientific research. It also aims to prevent Filipino culture, history, and promote healthy activities like sports.
Sa Article XP The Family, sinasabi dito na dapat ang pamilya ay ang pinakaimportanteng bahagi ng lipunan. Ibig sabihin ay ang pamilya ang pundasyon kung saan natuto ang tao ng mabuting asal at values. Kaya kailangan itong alagaan at protektahan. At tinutukoy din dito, tinutulungan ng gobyerno ang mga magulang para mapalaki ng maayos ang kanilang mga anak. Halimbawa, nagbigay ang mga gobyerno ng libreng edukasyon at mga batas na poprotekta sa mga bata laban sa abuso. Dito naman sa Article XPI General Provisions, tinutukoy dito ay ang tungkol sa iba't ibang importanteng rules ng bansa. Sinasabi dito na dapat nating igalang ang watawat at pambansang awit, na kapag may flag ceremony tayo ay sa paralan ay kailangan tumayo ng tuwid at umawit ng may respeto. At sinasabi din dito na ang gobyerno ay hindi basta-basta maaaring kasuhan, maliban kung ito ay papayag. Kaya kung may reklamo ay kailangan dumaan sa tamang proseso. Kasama din dito ay ang pagtulong sa mga sundalo na magproprotekta sa tayong mamamayan sa pamimili laban sa maling produkto. At pinapahalagan din dito ang kultura at karapatan ng mga katutubo.
Article 17. Amendments or revision. Ito ang tinatawag na update rule. Ipinapaliwanag dito kung paano maaaring baguhin o i-edit ang saligang batas. Hindi ito basta-basta nababago dahil lamang sa gusto ng iilan. Kailangan itong dumaan sa mahigpit na proseso. Maaaring nagmula ang panukala sa malaking boto mula sa Kongreso, sa isang constitutional convention o sa pamamagitan ng petition ng mga ordinaryong mamamayan. Hindi magiging epektibo ang anumang pagbabago hanggat hindi ito sinasang-ayunan ng nakararaming Pilipino sa pamamagitan ng isang bansang halalan o plebisito. Next is Article 18, Transitory Provision. Ito naman ay mga pansamantalang panuntunan na ginagamit noong bago pa lamang ang 1987 Constitution. Ang layunin nito ay ayusin ang paglipat mula sa lumang gobyerno patungo sa bagong sistema. Kasama sa itinakda rito ang pag-schedule ng mga unang halalan pagkatapos mapagtibay ang Constitution, pananatili ng mga dating batas at kasunduan hanggat hindi sila sumasalungat sa bagong salig batas. Pagtatakda kung hanggang kailan manunungkulan ang mga opisyal na nasa pwesto habang nagaganap ang pagbabago ng rehimen. Sa madaling salita, ang Article 17 ay para sa pagpapanatiling up-to-date ng ating batas sa hinaharap, habang ang Article 18 naman ay nagsisilbing tulay noong 1987 para hindi magulo ang takbo ng gobyerno.